Everyone, welcome to a bonus episode of Last Window, The Secret of Cape West. Thanks for tuning in. We wrapped up the very tearful and emotional saga last time, and I'm really confused about how this is gonna go, because again, like I said at the end of the finale, there's some kind of bonus thing in the stories. I don't know. Let's take a look. So, from the brief look that I saw, it looks like it's just, again, just kind of recapping the chapters. This is kind of funny though, because Martin Summer was the author from the first one. And then there was the fake author. It was a good time. Martin Summer, born in Kansas City in 1929, after graduating university and working as editor of Los Angeles Beat. Wait a second. Again, it's been a while since I played the game, so it's hard for me to tie certain things together, but it was Rex's friend in the newspaper place, who also worked for the Los Angeles Beat, right? I don't remember. He penned his debut novel, The Secret Word. 1990 saw his return to the spotlight after a decade spent entirely under the radar. With a fake Martin Summer, his works on countless movie scripts and his regular columns, together with his expansive, does that say expansive? That would make more sense. Expansive knowledge have paved the way for a string of bestsellers. Is it the one we met in the first game? I don't know. The guy we met, the guy that was the stand-in? I don't know. Okay, but either way, supposedly the canon is that he writes our story. That's kind of creepy. That's kind of scary. I don't like that. Yeah, so again, I don't think I'm gonna actually read through all this. I considered it. I was like, what if I did like a fun audiobook? Like, you know, oh my God, I'm trying to be a voice actor, do a fun audiobook. But it kind of ended up being like really freaking long. So yeah. Well, let's just kind of really quickly skim through, and I'm gonna hit upon the first bonus thingy-mabobber. Yeah, so we got all this stuff. LAPD, you know, Ed firing us. It's a good time. So, oh my gosh, such good memories. Me getting fired, having worst day of my life. Oh, such good memories. Yeah, okay, this was us needing to turn in the thing, blah, blah, blah. I'm gonna skip ahead. I'll see y'all later. Hi, I'm here. I clicked a little too fast and then this little letter opener popped up. But now we get to do, you know, our Ooh, that's very satisfying. I'm really bad at doing that in real life, so it's very satisfying to do that. So classified, notes concerning Kyle Hyde. Only read if confronted by difficulty. So I think this was like if you're stuck, you can open this and you'll get some little hints for that chapter. But if you like don't use it, then that's a cool thing. I know how this works. A reward may become available if this information remains classified. There, I literally had to read the next line. All I had to do was read the next line. I have really good reading comprehension. Okay. Okay, let's take a look and see what this is all about. Notes concerning Kyle Hyde. Introduction. The notes in this envelope consist of extracts from extensive research carried out by the author of the novel, Martin Summer. So he was being all creepy and looking into our life and writing our life story? Ew! In these notes, the author endeavors to give his readers a picture of the real Kyle Hyde, the man who inspired this novel. It is hoped that these selected episodes will help readers gain a better understanding of the man behind the protagonist. Okay. Part 1, hands-on investigation. I don't know how long this is, so we'll just slowly take it slow for this first one. In 1969, a 22-year-old Kyle Hyde joined the NYPD and was assigned to the 89th precinct. Now, the 89th of the late 60s was a rough place. Every single person there was a cop in body and soul. The force was in their blood. It was in this rough, no-nonsense atmosphere that Kyle had the basics of policing drummed into him. The first case Kyle was put in charge of at the 89th was a murder investigation connected to drug trafficking. So now this is a recap of the first game? Unless, using the attention to detail instilled in him by his superiors, Kyle began his investigation of the crime scene. No, this is a story we don't know, I think. I conducted an interview with Kyle's superior at the time, Willie Taylor. That's a name we don't know. He remarked that he had never seen anyone be so meticulous until he met Kyle Hyde. According to Willie, it was perfectly normal for officers to miss small clues and details on their first case, but Kyle was different. Despite being a rookie, Hyde never had the decency to keep his desk clean. He was a mess, but as soon as he hit a crime scene, he did a complete 180. So he's one of those classic types. We see this type all the time where like, they're kind of jaded, sort of gross, and they're kind of unkempt or don't care about, you know, keeping up appearances or the cleanliness of his desk here. And so maybe people find them abrasive and hard to deal with, but when they're on the scene, when they're investigating, they're a genius. We can't get rid of, we hate that guy, but he's so good at his job, we can't get rid of him. You know, one of those classic types. It's a very common trope by this point. The man was unflappable, even when confronted with that secret door mechanism. There was a secret door, I'm sorry. There were 2 buttons on it, and the combination of presses required to open the door changed every day. Kyle just walked up to the door, cool and collected, and pushed both buttons at the same time. The door opened. What? Yo, that guy just pushed both the 2 buttons possible at the same time. He's so cool. He's such a, oh my god. How did we never think to do this? Then, when he was searching the scene, he found the murder weapon before any of the other cops, hidden inside a sofa. Genius. Well, this guy's really excited about Kyle Hyde. But I didn't congratulate him, didn't commend him, didn't give him nothing. Hyde was the kind of guy who didn't need no ego boost, so I took him aside, showed him the gun he'd found at the scene, and gave him a solid grilling for wasting hours searching for the thing when it was in such an obvious place. I'm sorry, what? The guy couldn't believe what he was hearing. I told him, always search the crime scene with a fine-tooth comb. There's always a clue there. Always. And once you have that clue, you're sailing. Don't do it half-assed, don't give it to the rookies. Do it yourself. Hands-on. If Kyle's experiences at the 89th Precinct taught him anything, it was that. Even after taking his leave of the police force and starting to find things for Ed, he lived by that principle. When I contacted his colleague, Rachel, you leave Rachel alone, Martin Summer, to ask about his work ethic, she had the following to say. Kyle would never leave a job half done. The guy would just keep trucking until the bitter end. I knew, of course, that she was referring not to his sales strategy, but to his less well-publicized job. Rachel corroborated Willie's story about Kyle's meticulous nature. To support it, she told me about a time when he'd been asked by a woman in his building to find a piece of lost jewelry. In this game, right? In this game, because we had to do that. He'd turned the apartment upside down until he found it. But, Rachel told me with a small sigh, he was never any good at tracking down a woman's heart. This a subtle jab. Hello, Kyle. Please flirt with me. I'm desperately trying to get with you. I've been giving you signs constantly. Hello, Kyle, please. Thank you. While I was conducting this research, I happened upon another worthwhile piece of information. It concerns a tragic event in Ed's past that might as well have set him on the path towards setting up his side business. Ed Vincent left the LAPD in 1972. The same year, his girlfriend Catherine was killed? Wait, I don't think they ever told us this about Ed. No, why are we finding out about this in secret classified bonus info at the end of the second game? What? The murderer was a man whom Ed had sent to jail for theft. Upon finishing his sentence, oh god, the man discovered where Ed lived and bluffed his way in. Ed returned home later to find Catherine dead. No! The murderer was caught later and is still in jail today. Oh my god! Oh my god! According to a colleague of Ed's, Tony Caraway, Ed later found a letter among her belongings. It said this: "You always say your life is too dangerous, and I'd never be happy if we were together. I'm sick of that excuse, Ed. So if you can't propose to me if you can't propose to me, then I'll do it to you. I love you, Ed. I know that we can live life to the fullest together. No matter where our perfect life tries to hide, no matter how fast it runs, I know we'll track it down together." I am unsure as to whether Ed ever shared this particular detail about his past with Kyle. He did not! He's never once said anything like that to me. Well, okay, it makes sense he wouldn't say that to Kyle. What I'm shocked about is that us as the player were never privy to this information. He don't open up to Kyle, never. He's always yelling at him. He cares about the guy, but he's the extremely tough love kind of guy. He would never say anything like that to Kyle. He didn't want to show no weakness. As we saw evidenced in this game, he refused to let us visit him or see him or really know about the fact that he got hospitalized for a period of time. Oh my god! Ed! I'm heartbroken. That's horrible. Oh man, okay. Alright, let's just get through this. Let's just get through this. I'm gonna get to the classified section of chapter 2. Here we go. Y'all, these chapters long as hell. It makes sense though. There's a lot of stuff that happens in every chapter. It's really action-packed. Anyways, here we go. The bonus content of chapter 2. Alright, here we go. There's probably a way to jump to the classified sections faster. I don't friggin' know what it is, and it's fine. We're here. Alright, boo-doo-doo-doo. Notes concerning Kyle Hyde, part 2. Kyle's traits. While investigating Kyle Hyde's daily life, I heard a variety of amusing anecdotes. Oh, you think I'm a funny guy, huh? The first comes from Sydney Reagan. I never figured out whether it was Regan or Reagan. I would assume Reagan, like the president, who owned the cafe in Kyle's apartment building. According to Sydney, Kyle often had his dinner at said cafe whenever he was not away on a business trip. Kyle's favorite was Sydney's California burger. I looked for it on the menu, but Sydney laughed and said I wouldn't find it. He always prepared it especially for Kyle after he'd had a long day on the job. That's sweet. Sydney's been a good supporting guy the whole game, I would say. I specialize in serving what isn't on. I should probably be saying these as the voice. Me learning voiceover, me no have experience in audiobooks yet. Me no know how to do that properly. I think it'd be too tiring right now anyways. I'm just kind of getting through so I can absorb the information. But anyways, sure, I'll at least put on the character voices. I specialize in serving what isn't on the menu, Sydney said, although my daughter likes giving them strange names. The California burger is the tired Hyde, for example. Sydney also told me that Kyle would always tip generously, then put the rest of the change in his pocket and leave. I once asked him what he did with all the change he collected. He said that he put it all in an empty bottle as savings. He said that when he filled up the bottle, he'd buy a 20-year vintage bourbon and share it with me. Aww. Sydney kept chattering away, continuing his story. But he never did get that bourbon. The idiot had forgotten his rent one month, so he had to raid the bottle fund to pay up. That did happen. That did happen in the game with Sydney. I'm sorry. I'll owe you next time. I'm so sorry, my dude. Sydney said that he had consoled Kyle with a glass of his own secret vintage whiskey. That was such a sweet moment of the game. It was really nice. That's what it's like as a single man. You set rules for yourself, but damned if you ever follow them. I also asked his old neighbor, Betty Meyer, about him. She told me about a side to Kyle that might not have been obvious at first glance. Kyle was a really strange person. Actually, strange doesn't even begin to cover it. It wasn't uncommon to find letters and stuff on the floor by the mailboxes. Now, Kyle never, ever checked his own mailbox. But whenever he found something on the floor, he'd pick it up and bring it straight to the person. She related the tale of him bringing her a mail order catalog that had been left on the ground. It was the same when people dropped stuff in the corridor. Nobody else would ever notice it, but his eagle eyes would home in on them. Same if it was in a corner or just plain hard to see. I remember him finding something for Marie once too. I do wonder if that had something to do with his old job. That must have been, again, in the game. That must have been something that happened then. I don't remember. We did find something on the floor. It ended up being for Marie, but you know, I can't really tell if they're relating like older stuff that we don't know with like the things she just mentioned, the catalog thing, or stuff that happened in the game. Betty said that she had heard from someone in the building that he used to be a detective. She noted that his general manner made a lot more sense once she had learned that. I got the same impression as her. If I may add something, Kyle didn't just notice things on the ground. He would remember every tiny detail about them, but his firm moral compass would always guide him in the right direction, and he would never reveal that information to others. Wait, really? I feel like we gave away people's personal information like a lot throughout the game. We would learn something about someone, they're like, please don't tell anyone. We're like, okay. And then we would like, I feel like we did that a couple times. I can't think of any specific examples off the top of my head, but anyways. So don't worry, Betty. You, I, and Kyle Hyde will continue to be the only ones who know that the catalog was for a slimming belt. See, even Martin Summer, again, apparently this is confidential, but even Martin Summers just ratting it out with a slim blonde woman on the cover and the slogan, "Get yourself a top-class man with these seductive hips." Good, okay, great. All right, that was the end of the classified for chapter 2. These are great. All right, see you at chapter 3. Okay, here we are, chapter 3. Let's open this business up. Okay. Notes concerning Kyle Hyde, part 3. Kyle's tastes. Okay. The first impression you get of Kyle Hyde is that he's the strong, silent type. He's 6 feet tall, looks slim but sturdily built, and seems awfully blunt and unsociable for a salesman. If you get to know him slightly better, he can be quite talkative, but he still won't say much about himself. Oh, excuse me. Over the course of my research, however, I've been able to learn a certain amount regarding his likes and dislikes. Why are you so obsessed with me? I'm scared. His preferred attire is a sharp, single-breasted suit, always in black. This is invariably accompanied by a white shirt with a collar that's slightly on the small side, and a How do you know all this about me? How do you know my shirt's slightly on the small side? I hate it! And black skinny tie, loosely fastened with a small knot. Ew, why do you know my tie's loosely fastened? His drink of choice is a straight bourbon on the rocks. He's not picky about the type of glass it's served in, but he'd prefer the ice cubes to be round if possible. He tends to eat out, and in fact rarely cooks for himself, and while he doesn't demand a high-class restaurant, he does appreciate it when a chef pays close attention to the flavors of the sauces and the temperature of the food. As a rule of thumb, he does not accept presents from women. Wait, really? Why? And if he were to receive one, it's likely that he wouldn't keep it for an especially long time. Huh. However, there is one notable exception, a ceramic piggy bank in the shape of the Pinky Rabbit cartoon character, which he hides away in his closet. If they had just pretended that this wasn't a novel by Martin Summer, I would be totally fine with that. It would just be like, you know, it's the game developers, it's the game's bonus extra content, it's from this omnipotent, view. But the fact that they're framing it, that it's this Martin Summer, writing all this about us. I'm terrified. Okay. Kyle received this curiosity as a gift from a young lady called Mila, and while he continues to put coins into it, he refuses to ever break it and instead makes sure to keep it safe, no matter how unbefitting such a piggy bank seems of a grown man. The reasons for this are not entirely clear. I happen to be familiar with a method of retrieving the coins in such a situation. Instead of breaking it, you can insert something long and thin into the coin slot, and the coins will just slide out. Yeah, okay. I get it. There are certain parts referring to the chapter to help you, because that's exactly what we had to do. We were like, oh my god, how do we get the coins out of there? I forgot what we used. It was just like a piece of paper or something, or like a pin. We used something to get it out. So this is a hint to that puzzle. I remember it being really annoying. I'm not sure if Kyle has ever used such a technique himself, however. The way they write in the hint in the midst of all this creepy information, this is hilarious. Okay, I spoke to one person who knows the story behind the Pinky Rabbit piggy bank, Rosa Fox. Rosa, from the first game, a maid who has worked at Hotel Dusk for many years. Wow, there's a name I haven't heard in many a moon. Oh gosh, what voice did I give her? It's been so long. Mr. Hyde, as if I could forget him! December 28th, 1979. That's when he stayed here. I remember the exact date. It's that Mila girl who gave him the piggy bank. That day is when they first met each other, right here at this hotel. He really helped her out. That'll be why she gave him that piggy bank for his birthday. She wanted to give him something that showed how grateful she was. This is definitely not the voice and I don't care. Don't call me out on it. Why a piggy bank? Why does it look like a pink bunny rabbit? Well, it's a bit more complicated, but it boils down to Mila being such a sweet little kid at heart. Mila remembered seeing him watch a rerun of that old Pinky Rabbit cartoon in the hotel lobby, and she got it lodged in her head that he was a fan. Then she thought, well, Mr. Hyde never has any cash, right? So if he has somewhere he can put all his loose change, he can save up. You see how she got there now, right? That's so cute. Aww. She told me all about it. She searched high and low for that darn piggy bank. Every store in town. It had to be the exact right present for her to give to Mr. Hyde. That's so sweet. Oh. Listening to Rosa's story, I learned that Kyle Hyde isn't quite as set in his ways as you might expect. He can be very considerate of other people's feelings, and sometimes his tastes change to reflect this. When she realized that I was researching Kyle's tastes, Rosa adopted a boastful expression and said, well then, Mr. Smart Guy, did you know that Kyle Hyde likes doing his laundry? Wow, what a revolutionary fact about a person. Wow. I hear he won't let anyone else do it for him. You wouldn't get that from looking at him. You might think it's just that he's all particular about detergent because he sells household goods, but that's not it. Apparently he likes to put his clothes in the machine and then just sit in the laundry room and zone out while he waits for it to finish. Can't say what's so great about that, not for the life of me. It just smells of detergent. But, you know, that's Kyle Hyde for you. To each their own, I say. Subsequently, another one of my interviewees brought up laundry in relation to Kyle. It was one of the residents of his apartment building, a young man named Charles Jaunet. I didn't see Mr. Hyde a lot, but I sometimes bumped into him in the laundry room. Don't mind me. There were a few times I said hello to him, and we ended up having an unusually long conversation. Let me think. What did we talk about? That's it. Movies. Yes, we mostly talked about movies. I remember being surprised he knew so much about French cinema. Oh, and once we realized we both liked mysteries, we started playing detective a bit ourselves. People always used to leave things in the laundry room by mistake, so we tried to figure out who they belonged to. If I were to pinpoint Kyle Hyde's dislikes, I would say they include sweet alcoholic beverages, women who whine too much, you know, classic noir protagonists, I guess, and sorting out all the letters and junk mail that inevitably piles up in his mailbox. He also doesn't enjoy replying to the messages that have been left on his answering machine while he's been away on a business trip. Still, who can really blame him for that last one? My younger readers might not be aware of this, but the cassette tapes those old-fashioned answering machines used had terrible sound quality and were very prone to breaking. Also, if you made a mistake in using the buttons, for example, by pressing play, this was a hint. For example, by pressing play and fast forward at the same time, the tape would play back at a very fast speed and it would become impossible to understand the recording. Yeah, incidentally, Kyle would be unlikely to even notice if the tape in his answering machine was getting worn out to the point that it was about to break. Perhaps, though, pretending not to notice is just his unique way of doing things. That was a hint. The tape. Playing back the tape appropriately at the right speeds. Oh my god, that was so hard. I remember being in so much pain doing that. Okay, again, God, they're trying to find a clever way to get this to us. They're trying to make it an in-universe thing. Creepy as hell. Creepy as all hell. Martin Summer, stop. You have a problem. See you in the next chapter. All right, here we are at the next classified. My cat is here making lots of noise. It's very awesome. Okay, here we go. So if you hear any clinging and clanging, that's him. All right, part 4, Kyle's unique talents. This is an anecdote from the time when Kyle Hyde was serving as a detective in New York City Police Department's 89th Precinct. The stakeout is said to be one of the key methods of an investigation for the police department. It involves closely watching a street in the hope of noticing a clue or piece of evidence that could lead to the case being solved. Back then, all-night stakeouts were a regular part of Kyle's everyday life. He watched all kinds of people, from violent criminals to witnesses. He staked out all kinds of places for all kinds of reasons. The methods of communication available to a police officer during a stakeout were limited. They were generally able to use the radio in the car, but in cases where that wasn't possible, the officers couldn't rely on contacting HQ and receiving timely assistance. It was common for the men on the stakeout to have only their own abilities and judgments to draw on. Dennis Sachs? Never seen that as his last name before. A colleague of Kyle's at the time in the NYPD told me about one such situation. I gotta make up a voice for this guy. Whatever, it doesn't matter. Yeah, we were often put on stakeouts together. Normally Hyde always had this, sense about him, like his mind was somewhere else. But the second we went into action, the real Kyle Hyde appeared. And believe me, he had some balls. It was kind of weird, actually. And whenever we had to make a decision about when to step in, he just made it. No hesitation whatsoever. Not to mention all those times he ran after someone. It was like, whoosh, all of a sudden he was off and nothing was gonna stop him. He did large-scale stakeouts a lot too. We'd be split up into teams set up in different places around a building's perimeter, and we'd have a signal the teams would use when communicating to each other. This one time, it was Hyde's turn to decide what the signal should be. Normally we used our cars for the signal. We'd flash the headlights in a particular way, but not this time. Nope. This time the signal involved those thin electric flashlights we used in our investigations. Hyde decided we'd use Morse code transmitted using those tiny little lights. Damn, girl. Right away, all the guys complained that it was going to be too annoying to use, but in the end, it helped us catch someone. From then on, that system he thought of using, those flashlights, was what the sentence is hard to read. From then on, that system he thought of using, those flashlights, was what the 89th Precinct used on all their stakeouts. Was that just me? That was a hard sentence to read. Anyways, at the time, Kyle told Dennis Sachs that he had learned Morse code in the Boy Scouts. Which his mother had forced him to join. Wait, that's so cute. Imagining Kyle Hyde in the Boy Scouts. Wait, that's adorable, because we knew about him that he liked baseball. We saw him with the baseball hat. We heard him talk about collecting baseball cards. I don't think we ever knew he was in the Boy Scouts. That's so cute. Oh, that reminds me. One time Hyde messed up and forgot his flashlight. We were watching from a room opposite the building we thought was the criminal's hideout, and he used the light in the room for the signal instead. He just kept turning it on and off. Now, of course, a sign as obvious as that was going to be seen by the guy we were staking out as well. Thanks to Hyde, the suspect got away. That's just the kind of guy he was. He pulled stupid stunts like that every once in a while. That was the most important detail I gleaned from Dennis's story. Kyle Hyde is the type of man who pulls stupid stunts from time to time. During my research, I learned about various further incidents where Kyle did just that. I shall now recount 2 such incidents. Maybe these are hints to the chapter. The first took place 13 years ago, when Kyle was still just a 21-year-old university student. Never mind. It was summer, and although I am not aware of the circumstances that led to this particular event, Kyle had bet his friends that he could swim all the way around Manhattan Island. I don't think this was a story we ever heard. And sure enough, though it was a distance of approximately 29 miles and it took him 10 hours to do it, Kyle won that bet. How did he not collapse from exhaustion? How did he not collapse from exhaustion in the middle of the pool, in the water, and just drown? How did he do that? Kyle, you insane son of a gun. What on earth? No one had seriously believed he could do it, so naturally they were all very impressed. He became an overnight campus sensation, the university's very own celebrity for that entire summer. And yet, Kyle never did any long-distance swimming ever again. Wow, I'm trying to imagine him in college. Imagining him in different stages of his life is so hard because to us, he's just a perpetual, even though he's quite young. He's quite young. He's like, what, 32, 33? He's quite young. He's this perpetual old, tired man. Old, tired, grumpy man. That's just his perpetual state. So imagining him in other stages of his life is like impossible. The second incident took place when Kyle had been working for Red Crown for just over half a year. He was getting used to his new life, receiving stock from Ed and going door to door to try and sell it. One day, the product he had to sell was a grabber. This has to be a hint. It was a device that started off folded up quite small, but if you squeeze the handle, it extended so that you could use the tongs on the end to pick up items a short distance away. It was a useful tool and actually rather popular at the time because people want to be real lazy. They didn't want to get up to get their remote control. They're like, oh, let's just, honey, can you get the grabber? So Kyle set out that day with a dozen of those grabbers to try and sell as many as he could. However, by the time evening came, his inventory had not been depleted at all. It wasn't that he'd been slacking off. In fact, he had knocked on 100 doors over the course of that day. It was just that he couldn't sell a grabber to any of the people who lived in those particular houses. He didn't know precisely why this product wasn't selling, but from that day on, Kyle drastically reduced the number of doors he knocked on. Today the average number of houses he visits in one day is 3. Wait, what a strange story. So it was really popular and he was like, oh my god, this is a hot item, I gotta sell it. And he couldn't sell a single one after knocking on 100 doors, so he's like, okay, I'm gonna reduce the 100 to 3. Alright, sure, why not? Set limits for yourself. I get it. I don't know, it just seems like a real random story to tell. Okay, see you in chapter 5. Hello, we're back at chapter 5. I think after this chapter, I might save the second half for the next episode, since we had 10 chapters total. So yeah, hope you're enjoying this little haphazard audio book so far. Oh my god, we tore that one horribly. Why did we tear that one so bad? We even taped it back. Wait, did I do that? I don't think so. I think that just happens automatically. That's kind of a funny detail. That's kind of funny. Anyways, okay. Part 5, sources of curiosity. It's normal for a child to be filled with curiosity. Everything around them is new and surprising, and from the moment they wake up to the time they rest their weary heads, they look at the world and ask, why? Yeah, it's true. Kids go, why? But why? But as we grow older, we become less and less likely to wonder why things are as they are, despite the fact that there are still countless things in the world that are new to us. The reason for that isn't hard to deduce. By the time we are adults, we have internalized the technique of looking at something we don't understand, and either pretending we didn't see it, or pretending we knew all about it already. Damn, that's depressing as all hell. One might argue that everything that exists in our world is a product of our inquisitive natures, our curiosity to know why, to understand things that are new to us. But the truth is, everyone becomes gradually less likely to ask why as each year passes. It's particularly a problem for those such as myself who engage in production of creative works. In December 1979, I had fallen into a slump. Instead of looking at the world and asking why, I just sat with my head in my hands. That's the worst possible state for an author to find himself in. I was supposed to be working on the plot for my new work, but instead, I just sat holding my pen and staring at my writing paper for hours as not a single idea sprang to mind. The one who pulled me out of that abyss was Kyle Hyde. It wasn't that he did anything for me in particular. He just happened to turn up at the same hotel I was staying at in an attempt to make myself right. The moment I met him, I knew there was something truly unique about him. Kyle Hyde was most definitely something new to me, something I didn't understand. If he was supposed to be a salesman, why was he constantly shirking his duty? If he always went around presenting a facade of indifference, how did he come to know so much about everybody? If he disliked children so much, why were children so fond of him? And if he never made any effort to flirt with women, why did they universally find him so appealing? Just a few short hours after meeting Kyle, my mind was overwrought with questions such as these. That set the gears in motion. And soon enough, my missing sense of curiosity had returned in full force, and my enthusiasm for writing along with it. There's no doubt that if I hadn't met him back then, I would be a very different person today. That's how strong an impact our chance encounter made on me. Ever since then, no matter what experiences I have, my curiosity has not waned. It persists to this day. In particular, I expect that my curiosity regarding Kyle Hyde will remain strong for the rest of my life. But what does Kyle Hyde, who inspired my sense of curiosity, have curiosity towards? One of his neighbors, a musician named Tony Wolf, recounted a story to me of an incident that gave a brief insight into Kyle's sense of curiosity. That totally reminds me of the day after he moved in. I got home real late at night and there were these weird noises coming from his room. Kind of like this painful grunting sound. I kept hearing it over and over again, so naturally I got a little worried. I knocked on the door and asked if everything was alright. Turns out he was just unpacking, and that was the noise he made when he lifted up any of his stuff. I thought it was pretty funny. The dude never even realized he did it. He made that noise whenever he put a whole lot of physical effort into something. I had to laugh, you know? Then when I saw him the next day, he came over and told me he'd figured out exactly when he made that noise. It only happened when he lifted something heavier than 10 kilos or unscrewed a lid that was royal stuck. Apparently, after Tony went back to his own room, Kyle investigated how much effort was required on his part before he would make this sound of exertion. He's a pretty weird guy now that I think about it. He looked so pleased with himself when he said all that to me. But man, I knew from that moment, he loves finding out crazy stuff like that. It's like his passion. And you know, he gets into some pretty surprising things sometimes. This one time, he drank bottle after bottle of the juice from the vending machine in the lobby just so he could win the video game they had as this competition prize. I kind of laughed then too. Hint? Well, that was the thing we had to do, I guess. Incidentally, what Kyle won by finding the right bottle cap was more specifically, this was what happened in this game. A handheld gaming device from Japan released in 1980. The game involved repeatedly hitting the enemies as they reappeared, and he found it so entertaining that he even showed it to Rachel, his colleague at Red Cross. Oh wait, that's so cute! Imagining him, he loves that little Game & Watch or Donkey Kong Jr. game so much. It was Game & Watch, right? Game & Watch. The little Game & Watch game. So much that he showed it to Rachel. That's so cute. And man, that's not all. One time, the prize changed to a Pinky Rabbit game, and he had to get that one too. Wait a minute. Wait a second. Repeatedly hitting enemies as they reappeared. I only got the Pinky Rabbit game. Wait, was there 2 games? Did I forget about one? Wait a minute. Wait a second. He really went all out for it. I don't know if he's secretly a big fan of Pinky Rabbit. Oh wait, no. The bottle cap was one thing, and then the scavenger hunt with Sydney was the $1,000 raffle. I'm confused and I'm moving on. I don't know if he's secretly a big fan of Pinky Rabbit or if he'd just gotten really into those little games, but one way or the other, when something catches his eye, don't expect to drag him away too easily. I guess you wouldn't think he's the type that just from looking at him, huh? And apparently, even after he had long since grown tired of the game itself, the device found a home in Kyle's jacket pocket, and for a long time while he used it in place of a watch. Is it the game we earned in the first game? I don't think so, because Tony's talking about it as if it's in this game. Oh, okay. Okay. That's funny. That's so cute. Oh, Kyle Hyde. What a lovely man. Okay, yeah, so that kind of brings us halfway through the, total number of chapters. I believe it was 10. So why don't we cut that off here and leave the rest of it for the next episode? Join me next time for more cozy reading time and basically finding out really cute traits about Kyle Hyde. I'll see you then. This is Axus, over and out.